Welcome to the Phi Life podcast. I'm John Barban. With me is Brad Pilon, and today we're going to talk about anti-aging, or things that are supposed to increase lifespan. And I know Brad put up an interesting blog post today, and I was just looking through it and all the different, techniques or things that potentially could increase lifespan from a particular website that Brad found. And I know we're just going to talk about kind of the things that they pointed out that might have something to do with increasing lifespan.
Yeah. So if you want to follow along with us, you can just go bradpilon.com. It should be the latest blog post. If not, just do bradpilon.com/fasting could add 50 years to your life, or just search it on the side search bar. But what you're going to see is basically a bar graph where someone was trying to suggest, I guess is the best way to say it, that certain things can add a very significant amount of time to your life. And anti-aging is something that John, you and I have been very interested in the last 2 years. We did that SENS conference in Cambridge, England. I guess that was last year. So we've done a lot of investigation into this, and it's something that I'm always still looking into. And this one really took me by surprise, because this particular bar graph, which was, I don't know if you've noticed it, but I just found it now. Underneath average lifespan increment, it has little expert evaluation disclaimer. So I don't really know what that means. But I mean, long and short of it is, first thing is it's suggesting that periodic fasting and calorie restriction can add 40 to 50 years to your lifespan.
Now, when it says that, added to what?
Yeah, very good question. And I've just to, as a sort of disclaimer, as much as I love this claim, I'm not supporting it in any way. We're just discussing it. So don't start telling people that Brad Pilon told you can live 50 more years by doing Eat Stop Eat. Not the case. We're just talking about it. I don't know. To tell you the truth, I mean, especially since they've outlined very clearly a minimum and a maximum. I don't know how you can have a minimum increase in lifespan from fasting.
Yeah, I'm looking at the graph, and I don't really understand what they mean by that. And then, I guess we can just move on to the next thing. Regular intake of anti-aging drugs can add 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, without defining the drugs. And as much as I love fasting, and I do, my belief that fasting and calorie restriction will somehow outperform anti-aging drugs, possibly might be true right now, but I'd have to think that at some point, true anti-aging in the way of, extra 40, 50 years is going to come directly from drugs. In fact, you could argue that any extra anti-aging benefit we have right now is a result of our healthcare system, including drugs. So that's an interesting call, 20 to 30 years just from anti-aging drugs.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what those drugs would be. I did bounce around on their site and found all kinds of stuff they were recommending. So it just looks like walking through a supplement store, and little write-ups of all different things. I wasn't really paying too much attention to it, but it was links to buy all kinds of stuff. And
here's an interesting one, bud. So periodic fasting and caloric restriction can add 40 to 50 years of your life. And good nutrition, which is well-balanced, healthy food, individually tailored diet, can add 15 to 25 years to your lifespan. So I guess that's suggesting that fasting and caloric restriction on a diet of Twinkies and Ho-Hos is 40 to 50 years. And then periodic fasting and caloric restriction, but a well-balanced diet, could be 40 to 50 plus 15 to 25 years.
Yeah, well, that's the question. Yeah, just before we started recording, that's what I was asking you. Are they trying to imply that these are all within the same grouping of years, or do they all stack on top of each other? So you get 40 or 50 out of fasting, 20 or 30 out of drugs, 15 or 20 out of good nutrition. So, if you put them all together, if you followed everything that they say, does that mean you're going to live 200 more years? If you add these all up, or are these all the same? Is the 10 or 20 of the years extension of regular exercise plus the 10 or 20 from good nutrition,
some overlap there.
And all contained within the 40 or 50 of fasting.
Well, the very last bar is, these approaches taken together can add 60 to 80 years to your lifespan if you start young, say age 20. But even if you only start later, say age 45 to 50, you can still gain 30 to 40 years. So I'm assuming from that statement they're suggesting there's some overlap. I think on this graph, the most interesting part is the two ends.